The road of empowerment is not always easy because sometimes you have to have a breakdown to have a breakthrough. But on the other side of it is the best version of you yet. Hi everyone, Therese here. Happy new moon in Scorpio. By the time you see this, it will be a new moon in Scorpio. So sending you lots and lots of positive new moon energy. I look forward to meeting with everyone in the spirit circle tonight. And they had a fun time because the spirit circle got to meet twice this week thanks to me. So you're welcome, guys. You know what I'm feeling today actually is the void moon energy. So void course moon energy. What that means is there's a period every day where the moon technically goes off course. It's a void period or the void moon. And technically what's happening is it's when the moon is in between the change of its last aspect or last sign. So for example, when the moon is new in Scorpio, it starts to move through that sign throughout the day. And by the end of the day, the moon will be in, I have to think about it, Sagittarius. I don't know why my brain, see, it's the void course moon. So while I'm recording this right now, there's a void course moon going on. And man, for whatever reason, I am in touch with this one. During a void course moon, it is hard to make decisions. It's like because your moon and your emotions are tied to the moon and we feel that magnetic pull from the moon, when the moon goes void during the day, and it can go void at any point because it doesn't just pass through the sign like at the beginning of the day or the end of the day. It can be in the middle of the day. It's always changing the time it does it. But whenever it's moving from that one side to another, there is this period of confusion. And some astrologers won't even make decisions during a void course moon. So if you want to know when the moon is going void or off course, an app I really love to use for looking at that is called Time Passages. Time Passages app. It's a really good one. It can kind of give you an idea what the moon is doing. Or you can just Google it on the computer, like when is the next void moon? It'll tell you. But I'm feeling it right now, and what it creates for us is sort of this indecision. It's like hard to know what track to follow during a void course moon. So on this day, we also have a stellium happening in Scorpio, and Scorpio tends to be, I think, one of the trickier signs to really get hold of in the zodiac because it represents the house of mystery. There's parts of Scorpio that we just can't quite know, and yet it is the energy of that. I would say that claircognizance is definitely a skill that probably many Scorpios have, where they have claircognizance is when you have instant knowing. You don't know how you know, you just know. And that really represents that energy of Scorpio. Scorpio likes to go deep, and it has a high level of psychic ability where it's allowed to transcend into the mystery and pull out the information that's needed, but you don't get to solve the mystery, if that makes sense, which is why it's such a tricky energy to be in. What I would say is that during this time period, we're going to be able to uncover hidden truths or mysteries. A little piece of the mystery is going to be uncovered for us. And it's not necessarily something that you really are going to have to dig around for. You can do digging, but I feel like it's dropped in. It's like suddenly I understand how my ego operates here, or suddenly I understand why that relationship in the past didn't work out, or suddenly I understand what's blocking me and getting in the way, or suddenly I understand the nature of the universe and the world events and how it's all connected to the absolute healing and ascension of the planet. Could be stuff like that. Could be stuff like that. We're going to be feeling it in this time. But again, sometimes getting that little bit of truth, right? What do they say about the truth? That the truth may first piss you off, but it'll set you free, right? So it's not necessarily an energy where it all just feels good. Scorpio is also connected to Pluto, and Pluto is about power struggles and empowerment. So it's about breaking down where we are out of power and learning to re-empower ourselves. But many times that breaking down of where we feel out of power isn't necessarily something that we're choosing to do. It's like it's time. You know what I mean? It's like a clock ticks and goes ding, and now suddenly it's time for that breakdown to break through. And that does come with this energy. So if you find that you're like, great, I have all this intuitive information, but I feel worse than I've ever felt, well, that's actually part of this process where something has to be broken down so that you can have the breakthrough. And I'm hoping the cards will help explain this more. So let's take a look. If you're new to Karma cards, let me quickly show you how they work. I have 3 decks here: planets, signs of the zodiac, and the houses of astrology. And I've already asked my team in spirit, what is the message this week? And they've given me 2 sets of answers. One in red, which are action related, and a set in blue, which are outcome related. And the way that you play is you just tune in intuitively and feel, what do I need right now? Action related answers, outcome related answers, and of course you can always choose both. And while you're making that intuitive decision, let me tell you the timing for this reading. This reading is for November 3rd through November 10th. And the flavor of this reading, we have the North Node, which is about the future or the destiny, where we're going. North Node in Aquarius, which represents the age that we are now in, the age that has started. So our destiny is in Aquarius. That makes sense. And this energy is focusing on the 5th house, which is the fun house. I love it when the 5th house comes up. So the themes of the 5th house are about art, having fun, romance, creativity, all the good stuff. All right, for those who are choosing action, your spiritual action is to have faith in your vision with the trust of a child. So this one, I love it when it comes up. With the trust of the child means all in. Have faith in your vision and go all in. That's pretty self-explanatory. And I think the vision, okay, so we're talking about the future. Remember your vision of the future. Go all in and have faith in your vision of the future. And make sure that you are creating a future you want to see in the mind's eye. Everything starts as an intention, and it is usually felt into being first. So we look at it through our mind's eye and we feel it into being. We're like, oh yeah, it feels really great. That house feels amazing, or that society feels awesome, right? So we feel it into being first. We want to go all in and trust that, because our frequency is what's picking the path that we're going to walk down next. Mental action. Do not worry about what is new and different about fun, romance, and making art. I love this. Well, I'm liking this reading so far. Do not worry about what is new and different about making art. Fun, romance, and making art, rather. So whatever changes you're experiencing at this time, however it's shifting for you, it might be different from the routine that you've been through in the past. It's okay to let that go. And I get a sense that over this next week, we're okay with it too. Like, we're not struggling so much with it, but it's saying, hey, that's not something that you need to put a lot of energy, thought, or time into right now. Just let yourself do it. Just allow yourself to explore the new way things are happening for you. Physical action at this time. Now is the time to use an unconventional way and do it dramatically. Okay, it's time to get a little weird. It's time to let your inner weirdo out and have fun doing it. It's funny because I was in a conversation with a friend this evening, and we were talking about just that. Like, let's just let the inner weirdos out. Stop trying to follow a formula that's been set by someone else. A lot of times, especially when it comes to what you're creating, you're not really supposed to follow a formula. You have a formula. It's all over you. It's like, it's in your hands, it's in your palms, it's in your birth chart, it's in your numerology, it's in your human design, it's in your Enneagram. There is a very specific way you do things. If you find yourself trying to put yourself in the box of, well, no, this is how you paint a picture, as an example, that's going to create misery. It won't be fun, and it's not going to lead to the result that you want, which is the soul expression. So the fifth house, all of these lead to soul expression. And so you might feel a little weird letting yourself do it unconventionally, right? If you feel like what I have to do is get a canvas, and this is an example, get a canvas, dip my hair in some paint, and then flop it around on the canvas, then that's what you're supposed to do. Maybe there's nobody out there doing that, but that's not the point. And I know that's just an extreme example, but I hope it illustrates the point. There are some things, especially when it comes to creating, and that means creating your life, creating your future, creating fun, joy, romance, art, all of that. There's a unique signature that you have, and this is the time to be expressing through that unique signature. All right, so now let's look at outcomes. For those who are choosing outcomes in the North Node in Aquarius in the fifth house or the fun house. Spiritual outcome, there will be genius to experiment with the power of love. I like that. There will be genius to experiment with the power of love. So what's really interesting about the word genius, it's another word for like, often we associate genius with intelligence, but genius is more like thinking outside the box, is another way to say that. So you're going to have that moment coming up, and when it's connected by making choices through love. So I was talking about that on an Instagram post today, about the difference between focusing on your abilities, what you think you can do, and how many people actually underestimate what their abilities are. If I ask you to tell me what you're really good at, you'll probably downplay it because, oh my God, what if I'm not as good as I think I am, right? Most people do that. But if I ask you to make a choice from either love or fear and then do the thing from that place, well, when you're choosing from love, everything's possible. Suddenly you have abilities that you didn't even realize because you're being driven by the energy of love. This is talking exactly about that you will have that energy. And when you choose from love, no matter what you're doing, if you're making a painting and you're doing it because you love it, genius, right? If you're making a birthday cake and you're doing it from love, gorgeous, genius, delicious, right? Choose from love and genius appears. So outcomes, success from the discoveries of investments, gambles, and other games. I'll say that one more time. Success from the discoveries of investments, gambles, and other games. So again, this is talking about being fun, or having fun rather, and sometimes having fun or allowing yourself to play, it feels vulnerable. And anytime we feel vulnerable, our brain automatically associates it with risk because we are putting our heart out there. When you choose from love, a lot of people think that this is just going to be easy. Oh, well, if I choose from love, then it's easy and it's going to feel warm and fuzzy and good. There is warm, fuzzy goodness attached to it, but not initially. Sometimes when you're choosing from love, like you're choosing to, let's say a person, they're fed up with work, right? And they want to leave their job and they haven't yet, and they really focus in on it. They're like, I'm only here because I'm afraid I won't have money. I'm afraid of what could happen if I lose this job. But if I was choosing from a place of love, I'd absolutely leave and I'd go start this macrame business that I've always wanted to do, or I'd go volunteer, or, they'd make a different choice. Well, that feels good in the moment when you identify that love is leading me there. But now actually take the action step. And how do you think you feel? You'd probably be freaked out. You'd probably be like, this feels unsafe. My heart is crazy. I don't there's no security in that. I have no way of knowing if that's going to work. Those kind of thoughts start to kick in, right? That's why gambling or risk is attached to the 5th house, because there is an element of vulnerability which creates this a sense of maybe instability or something that is unknown. But this is actually where the success is. Success from the discoveries of the risks that you might have to take, right? So it's one of these tricky things where it's like you can get it up here, but getting yourself to move into action, that's where that bravery and the guts really start to come in. And now some people might think about themselves and go, well, I'm not a brave person, or I don't know if I have the guts to do that. Then you go back to the previous statement, which is whatever you're choosing from love gives you abilities you didn't even realize you had. So just let that all sink in. Really think about that. You know, whatever's coming up for you, there's going to be like a specific thing that comes up as I read this to you. That's the thing that wants you to pay attention and go, it's time to take a risk. It's time to get vulnerable here. And if you choose from love, it feels like what? And that's where the genius and the success is. Physical outcome. Benefit resulting from the eccentricity of your creations. Okay, so there's talking about genius, success, and benefits resulting from eccentricity, which just another way to say that is outside the box. There's no template for you to follow, right? No one's going to have a template that was made custom for you. The only one who has that is you. So this is where the believing in yourself with the trust of a child, the having deep faith in your own vision, what you're seeing, what you want to create, all leads to a positive outcome, right? We're so conditioned with the fear matrix that's falling apart to think about the worst case scenario. Where did we get that? Where did we all get that? I mean, that's not to say that things don't disappoint or don't fall apart, but it's interesting that we're so focused on that to the point that we won't even move towards what we want. Not in all cases, but many times everybody gets stuck on that one. And, in third density, catalyst is presented equally, meaning that the negative is presented just as much as the positive. It's not overbalanced to the negative or to the positive. So we really get kind of a fair deal if you think about it energetically, that whenever we're asked to make a choice, there's equal amount of a negative and a positive charge to it. After being conditioned to think that, that being safe or thinking about how it could fall apart might be the better way to go, you got to realize there's just as much of a chance that that it works out, right? Like that it all is better than you thought, that there is success, genius, benefit from trusting yourself and having deep faith in the extraordinary being who came forward known as you. So just think about that. If you tend to get caught up in the what if it goes wrong, you need to realize that there's an equal amount of energy to what if it goes right. And it just becomes about the choice. Which path are you going to try? Which one are you going to take? And based on that, that's the outcomes. But the little hint the universe wants to give you right now is if you choose the positive, there's some good stuff waiting for you right now. And with that, I'm sending you lots of love. Mwah. Thank you for watching. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell so that you know the next time I release a new video. Until then, stay magical.